Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, I'm Chris the Dom One, and I am back with another video. John Schneider, a lot of people don't know this actor. You know, the younger generation probably know him from Smallville, but the old heads out there know him greatly from the Duke of Hazzard's. Duke of Hazzard's. He used to play Bo Duke. I can still kind of remember it, the theme song. Just a good old boy fighting the system like a modern day Robin Hood. Yeehaw! I used to remember seeing that General Lee just floating up in the sky when he used to go off into the ramp, off into the sunset. This legendary actor is going to jail because he can no longer afford his alimony payments. He is behind on his payments, and he basically told the court that financially he is no longer able to afford these payments. It's not like he's skipping out on his payments. Well, you know, technically he is. But he is letting the ex-wife as well as the system know that he can no longer pay these alimony payments due to a lot of hardship in his life. He most notably talk about the floods in Louisiana and how that affect his movie studio, and he continued to build his movie studio in Louisiana with the earnings that he made with not only the Duke of Hazzard's, but Smallville, okay? And that was sort of eating away. You know, this wasn't a case of, well, I'm not paying the alimony payments because I don't want to pay the alimony payment and I have the money. It's just a simple fact of he can no longer do it because he's not making the same type of money he was making with the Dukes of Hazzard's as well as Smallville. You know, I'm pretty sure he still gets checks from those two television shows. But you know, Smallville, let's just be real about it. I think Smallville was like 10 years ago, 8 years ago. I want to say 10 years ago. And the Duke of Hazzard, that was back when he was young, you know. So if he is getting any type of royalties from the Duke of Hazzard, it pales to what he's probably earning with Smallville. And I think the Smallville gravy train is about to come to the end of the road. Now he's in prison. He has to stay there for 3 days, and he said while he's in prison, he's going to write a book and write a couple of songs, and pretty much that's it. He said he's disheartened with the system, but you know, it is what it is. I feel kind of sorry for him, and I feel sorry for a lot of men out there that are put in these predicaments. But at the end of the day, it's a predicament that you put yourself into. Okay, when you have a child, you are responsible for those for that child. Now, what he was behind in alimony payments, it's a lot greater than a 9 to 5 average Joe out there who may have a restaurant job or may have 2 jobs, and he's trying to make sure his child support payments are on time. But it's a slippery slope when you try to. I feel sorry for him as a human being, but at the same time, this is what the system is set up to be. And when you allow one person to give them chances after chances to catch up on their alimony payments or their child support, then there's going to be 1,000 others out there who don't give a damn about their child support payments or alimonies, use this same type of excuse to somehow, some way bypass jail. Okay. But as a human being, I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, these are predicaments that you put yourself into, okay? Because the child cannot make money for themselves. Okay, it's, you know, I really don't care about the ex-wife. I really don't care necessarily about him. You know, but I understand about the flood situation in Louisiana. And you know, and I understand about your movie studios tanking, but at the same time, one would like to know, where was the insurance involved? Did you have insurance for those studios? And at the same time, you have to make a conscious decision that, okay, what's more important, trying to reestablish and rebuild this studio, or take care of my personal responsibilities first? I think, you know, one could look at this from the outside and say, well, you know, as far as what's important now, I think you need to take care of your family before you take care of anything else. And there's levels to this. He probably knew before it got worse, when he got really behind on his alimony payments. There was some point of time where, you know, the alimony payments were bigger than his earnings that he brings home. So he should immediately went to court to try to adjust this. Now, he was in court by himself. He didn't have a lawyer present with him, so that also indicates that he couldn't even afford a lawyer. Okay, even though he could have retained a free lawyer. You know, there's a lot of young lawyers out there that would do it pro bono. You know, with a name like that on your resume, and if you can get John out of a situation where he can spend months, if not years, in jail, and if you can somehow even reduce it past 3 days, maybe 3 hours in jail, that's a good resume. That's a good name to have on your resume if you're trying to become a lawyer. You know, if you're trying to get clients to believe in you when you're an attorney or a lawyer. Okay, but you know, I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, you knew when the earnings wasn't as big as your bills, and then you knew that there was a point in your time where you have to cut some certain things out to continue to make sure the alimony payments were on time. Okay, so you know, this just didn't happen all at one stroke. Like, wow, I can't. You know, the earnings are small, and now the alimony and everything else is ballooning, and I just don't have the funds to do that. Okay. Now, he also indicated that throughout his life, he worked 7 days. He worked 40 hours, or was it 60 hours a week? And I feel for him on that. You know, I think he was doing that before he became Bo Duke on the Dukes of Hazzards. You know, so that indicates that he is willing to work. Okay, and all of that is good, and I don't think this is a deadbeat dad situation. However, there are a lot of men out there in similar situations like himself that are good dudes out there, and when times get rough, and when you can't afford your bills, you make sacrifices and you get ahead of it by if you have to go into court and say, look, Your Honor, what I was making 5 years ago, I'm not making now. Okay, which is kind of funny. You know, Diddy got his payments reduced from his alimony and child support. I remember Bow Wow got his payments reduced with his child support. You know, and I think they did that before they got to the point to where Mr. Schneider is. And also, you know, when you have 3 kids and you have 2 different wives, you know, if you can't afford children, then maybe it's to keep this in the back of your mind. Maybe you shouldn't bring children in the world. Now, a lot of people are going to watch this video and say, oh man, that feels kind of, you know, that's kind of cold and heartless. but it's the honest to God truth, okay? If you're not willing to sacrifice and take the big responsibilities, and it's not an adult thing, you know, it's just a reality thing. And men out here think that they can do it all. They think they could, you know, we have the element of being a conqueror, that, you know, we can take care, we can satisfy our wives, we can our wives, they can have as many kids as they want. You know, I can work a 9 to 5, and if I'm willing to, I can work 2 jobs, you know, just to bring income into the household. But what a lot of men fail to have is a plan B. Like, what if, you know, you and your wife ain't feeling one another, okay? Or if you cheat on your wife, or if your wife cheats on you, then you're probably going to have to find a new wife, okay? And if you already had kids from your previous ex-wife, you know, I'm pretty sure the woman that you fall in love with next will want you to have kids with her too, okay? So it's a balancing board type of effect. But at the end of the day, I really don't feel too sorry. I mean, I feel sorry for him, but a lot of good dudes out there are placed in these situations. And then there are a lot of good dudes out there that make the necessary sacrifices, make the necessary planning, so they won't be in a predicament like this man. But he's going to serve his 3 days in prison. But you know, the alimony payments are still going to be there, and I'm pretty sure after he served his 3 days, I'm pretty sure that the judge will clearly see, and the ex-wife can clearly see, that he is just not earning that type of money anymore. You know, the Dukes of Hazzard was like 30, 40 years ago, okay? You know, and I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard on reruns on a lot of shows. You know, I didn't get to watch it when it was live, okay, when it was brand new. And you know, Smallville, I used to watch Smallville constantly because he was Clark Kent's father, okay, and I think he did a great job in that as well. But, you know, since Smallville, I really don't see him in a lot of movies or a lot of TV shows. I think he was on Nashville. I'm not 100% sure. But once again, you know, times are getting hard for a lot of celebrities out there. And, you know, especially, you know, if you haven't had a gig in a long period of time, you know, it's hard out there and it's rough out there to pay your bills. There's gonna be people out there that's gonna watch this video, and you're gonna have that fans of this actor make excuses for him, damage control for him, and then you're gonna have people out there that don't give a damn, saying that he should stay in prison longer. But you can have whatever type of opinion you can have. I'm just sharing you my opinion. I don't want to see any man in jail. But if you're a deadbeat father, you know, my opinion will change. But in this instance, I don't see the elements of I'm a deadbeat father, I don't give a damn about my child support or alimony. But it is what it is. Guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don 1, and I am out of here. Deuces.